Hey moms and dads, this week we're talking about Romans 5:8, which says that, "But God demonstrates His own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." Now look at the bottom of your screen. It's going to appear digitally right here. Now this is a really neat passage because God tells us that the most important thing about our life is to love Him and to love others. And He's telling us right here how He demonstrates His love toward us. So it's a pretty important passage when we see, anytime that we see God express love, because it's a chance for us to learn how He expresses love and then in turn to go and love others that way. So God demonstrates His own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. So we talked this last Sunday that love is any time we put others' needs above our own. That's how it's expressed. The opposite of love is sin, and sin is any time that we focus on ourselves. So love is focusing on others, sin is focusing on ourselves. All right? So now, in this passage, it says, while we were still sinners, while we were focusing on ourselves, God was standing there with open arms, just with an incredible, infinite, impossible to describe love for us, holding His arms wide open for us. And we walked away and said, "God, you know what? Our way is going to be more fun. We don't really trust you. We think that you're silly, and we're not going to do it." And so we were really mean to God. But even in the midst of that, while we should have been apologizing for being mean, and we were the ones who should have been saying, "God, I'm so sorry for acting that way," we didn't do that, and He still died for us. He still went to the cross and paid the ultimate sacrifice for us, even though we were walking away from Him. Now this is really powerful, because how does this affect our own life? How do we do things differently in our life as a result of understanding more about how God loves us? So what we talked about this last Sunday is that when other kids, brothers and sisters, whatever, are mean to us, how do we act in return? Do we push and shove back? Or do we say mean things back? Or do we try and figure out a way that we can show love in return? And love, again, is putting other people's needs above our own. That's what we worked on this week. We put together 2 little skits and made little movies out of them. And so we want you to take a look at those now, and then we'll come back in just a second.
But God demonstrates His own love for us.
In this while we were still sinners, Christ died for us.
Romans 5:8. I wonder what we're having for lunch. Oh, here comes the Red Shirt Club.
I'm gonna get my lunch first. Hey, don't spit in my face.
What happened to my lunch tray?
Please. Lunch money. Thank you.
Hey, I have a glass.
Oh, let's pray for them. No, I'm gonna pray first.
Dear God,
I pray in your heart.
Dear
Pray
God,
in your heart right first.
dear God, I pray for my food. I pray for those movies who are cool, and to hurt and put them on lunch tray.
I'll take a walk with Jesus. Might explain the mysteries of life. Some say I just can't believe it, but I know that one day we will gather at the crystal.
Hey, what's up? Hey. Hey, what's up? Hey.
You are my breath and heartbeat. Born in the dark.
Get off our playground! Because it belongs to us. Hey, that's not very nice. Hey, I know what we could do. We could play a game. How about Simon Says? I got Simon! Oh! Simon says, put your right leg up. Simon says, put your right leg down and your left hand up.
Who you are, you're the great I am. For who you are, you're the son of man. For who you are, I am who.
Now the challenge this week is twofold. One, I want you to tape up this verse to the mirror in your bathroom and memorize it this week. I want you to take a picture of it, of the verse on your mirror, and email it to me, and you'll get a point for doing that. And then you also get another point for coming next Sunday, which is the 12th, July 12th, and have it memorized. And you'll get another point for that. And then when the whole class gets up to 100 points, we're going to do a big pizza and movie party at House One Cafe. It's going to be a lot of fun. But what I want you to do this week is to talk about this verse in your family. Talk about it at dinner. Talk about it at breakfast. Talk about it as you're playing together. Talk about it after you get done going to the park, and maybe you saw some examples where you were selfish, or even talk to your kids about times when you were selfish and when they were selfish, and ask them prompting questions of like, what were some ways that you were selfish today? How could you have handled that differently? And and when was a time when maybe somebody wasn't very nice to you, and did you handle that properly, or could you have done it differently? So really talk to your kids about these practical examples so that they know in advance and are proactive about how to respond when somebody's not very nice to them, and they can show love in return rather than just reacting. Because if all we do is react, we're probably not going to make the right choice in a split second. So that's what you want to talk about this week, is Romans 5:8. But God demonstrates His own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, we were being selfish, God still came after us and gently picked us up from our selfishness and restored our relationship back to Him. That is love. That is an amazing love that we will never ever comprehend the magnitude of. But He loves us that way, and He calls us to love others that way.